This is the Mizuno Alpha Japan. It's a speed boot, and it's also a little bit confusing because there is a whole lot of really good things going on here, and then also one significant bad thing that we kind of need to talk about. So if you have been thinking about getting a pair of these, let me tell you why I think they're absolutely amazing, but also why they might not be a must instant cop. But if you want to buy them, well, the link's right up there and in the description. I'm JayMike, and this is my review of the Alpha. So, as the name suggests, the Alpha is Mizuno's top dog when it comes to innovation, and actually their first synthetic top boot in quite a few years. And it replaces the Regular line to focus more on dedicated speed. And there is still a little bit of Regular in it. Now, the Alpha here is made with a 5-layer heat-pressed upper, where you have this inner foam skeleton to give you a bit of structure and stability, and then on top you have this woven textile material that gives you not only a pretty pliable and accommodating fit, but also this very direct sensation on your foot. And it's a pretty good upper package. I'll go as far as saying that, me at least, this is a more or less near perfect fit and shape for my foot. And I know it sounds a bit daft, but it gave me the sensation when I stepped into it that it just fits. I know boots overall these days are getting more and more comfortable. They generally fit better. But to find a football boot where you get such a good fit that you don't really have to settle anywhere. You don't have these little areas where you have to live with a little niggle, that something is not 100% perfect. Finding a boot like that is special. And that amazing fit primarily comes from the shape of the Alpha for me. It's close, it fits relatively snugly around your foot, but without ever giving you any pressure points, and that is actually relatively comfortable for me. Now, the toe box is a little bit on the tighter side. There's not a lot of volume in there, but I actually quite enjoyed it because it made me feel a little bit more connected to that very important point of the boot. And there's no squeezing of your toes, for me at least, so it was never really in the way. Now, the upper itself is also pretty nice. It's relatively soft and pliable, has decent stability to it. It just adjusts well to the shape of your foot. However, I will say that it doesn't feel as, you can almost hear it, it's a little bit plasticky. It's not as malleable out of the box as a Vapor 15, and it does, wrinkle up a little bit when you bend it and start running. Now, it only took me a few sessions for the material to soften up and break in well, to the point where I don't really notice anymore, but it's just something you need to know. Overall though, I like the fit, and that's primarily also because of the heel, which is phenomenal. It's a little thing, but it's tight-fitting in a good way, it's snug, it's stable, and it doesn't make a big deal out of itself because there are no pressure points whatsoever. And then it also has this zero glide liner, which is this black, almost sticky mesh that you also get on the insole that prevents your foot from sliding around inside the boot, giving you a little bit of that responsive sensation. And when you combine that with the also deeper lacing system, which means that you can adjust the shape depending on your foot shape, but also of where you want the tighter fit, that sensation of lockdown, you get a boot that just performs really well, but also just fits like a dream. And that's a cocktail you don't see every day. Oh, and the size. Now, the Alpha is built on the same last as the Morelian Neo, which means that you should definitely consider going down half a size in your UK or US sizes just to get the best fit in the length. Now, width-wise, I think it will work really well with both wide and also flat feet. I mean, it's built for Asian feet, which are typically wider and flatter. So in general, I would say that the Alpha, it will appeal to a lot of people. The shape is very good, and as long as you can live with that slightly tighter fitting toe box, I don't see why you wouldn't like it, to be honest. And then there's the outsole, which definitely doesn't focus that much on fit and comfort. Instead, it's all about speed and, well, you can tell. You have this glass fiber-like insert from a material called Carvo that is really stiff and very, very snappy when you push off. It feels a little bit like an X Speedflow, actually. The rest of the sole is also really stiff and very responsive, so if you're into a very nice and comfortable outsole, this is not the boot for you. But instead, if you like it snappy, if you like it responsive, it does a pretty good job. The studs are also
solid, I would say. I like the shape, they do their jobs, and they hold their own pretty well compared to some of the other speed boots out there. I wouldn't necessarily say that they're worse or any better, but they do well. They offer a little bit of bite in every direction, and I'm happy with it. And then there's the touch, which is actually exactly like you would expect with an upper like this. Because it is thin, it's direct, it's barefoot-like, and it's very, I would say, honest on the ball. What you put in is what you get out. But because you also have this foam skeleton in the upper, it means that there's this little hint of softness whenever you really put your foot through the ball and strike it hard. Now the upper here also has a little bit of a, I'll say a matte sticky coating, where you get a good amount of grip on the ball in this very, I would say, connected feel. It's very balanced. It reminds me a bit of the Vapor, but in a slightly more tacky way. And I also mentioned this really low and pointed toe box, which on the ball I think is absolutely amazing because it makes the Alpha feel very nimble and elegant. And I really enjoy that. So you get this very barefoot-like feel on the ball, but without that annoying stinginess of actually having bare feet. It's a pleasure. But of course, not everything is good on the Alpha. Now with a thin upper also comes the fact that you will feel every little kick and stud graze on your foot. It's just the way it is. But on the other hand, if you buy a speed boot, you probably know this already. Now, of course, also, as I mentioned, the stiffer outsole and that snugger fit in the toe box is not going to be for everyone. But for me, the only really big problem with the Alpha is the price. It's also a big problem because it's a big price. This is 320 euros. 320 euros. Why not bring a competitive price instead of this? I mean, I just, yeah. For all its glory, you gotta really want an Alpha to live with the price tag. It's just too much, and that's a shame. Because for me, the Alpha is an absolutely fantastic boot. Not only is it, in my book at least, one of the best speed boots on the market, but it's also just gonna rival the Vapors and the Morelli Neo 3s for just one of the boots I enjoy the most to play in. It's that good, but it's also a little bit expensive. But guys, what do you think about the boot? Let me know in the comment section right down below. And remember that if you are ready to bite the bullet on the price and experience the awesomeness of the Alpha, the link to unisportstore.com is right over there. But of course also, if you haven't joined the Unisport family yet, make sure to subscribe to the channel with the notifications on, and then maybe hop down to the playlist right down there if you like learning new skills and improving as a footballer. And with those words, I'll be signing off. A cheerio.